feel like who I actually am while I was at Yale. Because in high school, you know, like I was one of the top of my class, and then I go to Yale and I'm like, holy crap, like these kids went to like private schools, like they had like tutors, and like they're so smart, and I'm just like, I don't think I'm as smart as them.
Right.
And yeah,
but you think about, I feel like every kid, in order to get to be that successful at academics, you have to have some sort of internal dialogue, always like, I need to be better, I need to push myself. Because I have a friend who, I think... Hello everyone, welcome back to the show. Today we spoke with Delaney FitzPatrick. She got her undergrad at Yale, and she just recently got her master's at the U of M. So we call her Gigabrain. We spoke today about Ivy League schools, the competition involved in Ivy League schools, as well as just kind of the nature of language in general. And then we closed out the show with some fan-submitted questions. So I love this episode. Delaney's a super smart girl, super nice, and we hope you guys enjoy the episode. Thank you so much. Great googly moogly. Welcome to the 7th Street Podcast. My name's Clark. Across from me is my gracious co-host. His name is...
I'm Obsa.
And we have with us in studio today, she has her master's. She has her undergrad at Yale. She is a scholar, and, you know, she just does so many things as well. Her name is...
I'm Delaney FitzPatrick.
Delaney FitzPatrick is here in the room. Let's give her a round of applause.
Thank you so much. I'm very excited to be here.
It's a pleasure to have you. So let's get right into it, man. We have a new segment on the show today. It's called Guess That Sound. So we're going to play a quick sound, and you guys are going to have to leave a comment on what you think is playing. Here's Hamza with the sound cue.
What do you think it is?
What do you think it is, man? So yeah, leave your comments down below. Everyone, you know, as usual, please feel free to follow us. You know, tell a friend maybe. That's, you know, write a letter, put it on a pigeon, and send it to your grandma, you know, with 7th Street Podcast on it. You could also...
How do they train them like that?
I don't know. That's a great question. I think it originated in World War II, I believe. Is that right? From our Yale undergrad?
I am an English major. I do not do history. But...
Okay, gotcha. But yeah, as you guys know, you know, follow us, Stitcher, SoundCloud, Spotify. There's so many ways you can get in touch with us. Email us at 7thstreetpodcast@gmail.com if you want to be a guest. And shit, bro, let's get right into it.
No one followed my Visco.
Damn, bro. Your shit's probably weak then.
Yeah, it is. All right, so Delaney, you went to Yale.
I did, yeah.
How was it?
You know, it's a very different, and I mean, compared to like, because I did my master's here at the U, it's like a very different experience overall. I think like coming from like an Ivy League school to a Big Ten school, there's like, and especially like coming from like a school of 5,000 students to a school of like 30,000 students, things are going to be different. 50. Or 50,000 students?
Including grad, yeah.
50,000 students. So,
Dang.
yeah, well, I guess 5,000 is just Yale undergrad, so, yeah. I was making that type of comparison, thank you. But I think like the first 2 years were kind of hard, like just to kind of like get my bearings, especially because like I went to a public small like high school in Wisconsin. Like there's not really anything that really prepared me for like an Ivy League education.
Oh, so you're from a small town?
Yeah.
Gotcha.
So like half of the students at Yale are like went to like public schools and half of them went to private schools. It's pretty even.
Interesting.
So the first like 2 years were kind of difficult. I definitely hit a pretty hard sophomore slump. But junior and senior year were amazing. I had an awesome time, especially senior year, and I definitely miss it a lot. What
do you think was the best part of like junior and senior year, or the second half? What made you like it so much?
Well, I think the thing I liked most about Yale, like in general, is just the people. And okay. I think like you just go and you just meet an amazing person like at every turn. Like everyone is so dynamic. They always have like something that they're really passionate about. Like kind of something that I learned is that everyone at Yale like specializes in like one thing or another. So for example, like I was like an athlete at school, so I ran track and field. That's how like I came to be here at the U. I ran my 5th year here. That's how I met Hamza.
Hey.
And so, like, I was an athlete. We have, like, a kind of a small population of athletes there, but aside from that, people are, like, okay, like, I play an instrument, or, like, I'm an a cappella, or, like, I'm, like, really passionate about, like, social work. So there's, like, always something that people are, like, really passionate and kind of, like, specialized in.
Everyone has their crowd, and it's pretty...
Yeah, but I'm kind of, like, not just that, like, you find your crowd at Yale, but I think, like, something about Ivy Leagues is, like, you have to be well-rounded, but you also have to be, like, great at something.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you have to be good at everything and great at one thing. And that kind of is, like, what sets you apart.
Huh. So, what if you're not great at one thing? Is there, like, an element of casting?
Yeah, who are the losers?
Yeah, is there an element of, like, losers or people who get cast out of the community? Like, I feel like people say in like, those movies, what was that one movie? There's something where it's, like, you're in Harvard, and basically there's all these competition, and kids are, like, committing suicide, and that this literally has happened. Like, the stress has gotten to people so much, and people feel like they're so isolated because everyone's trying to get ahead. Is that the case at Yale, or what do you
have to say about, like, the competitive?
Exactly, about the competitive aspect.
So I think, so my brother actually goes to Harvard, and so I kind of have, like, an inside perspective onto, like...
Damn, so is your family, like, a whole family of scholars, or are you two the first to kind of do it, or how did it go?
Yeah, I think, well, my parents are both teachers. They both, like, went to UW schools, like,
Gotcha.
UW Wisconsin schools. And so I think, like, they just kind of, like, saw education as super important and always encouraged us to, like, read and, you know, like, go to, like, museums and, like, just, like, learn and be passionate about and, like, excited about learning. So, and my parents were always just kind of like, you can do whatever you want to do. And running for me was kind of, like, my avenue into, like, an Ivy League education. And that was the same for my brother as well. So, like, I think coming
running
out of...
was?
Yeah.
How is that the case?
For
how is that your avenue into it?
So, there are, like...
Did you get a likely letter?
Yeah. So, like, at an Ivy League school, it's a Division I. All the Ivy Leagues are Division I, but there aren't any athletic scholarships. So basically, like, everyone who goes is, like wants to be there and, like, really invested in the sport. But they're also, like, kind of, like, becoming, I'd say, like, more competitive, like, within, like, the national, like, scene as well. So it's not like you get just, like, you know, people who are, like, average going to these schools.
Right.
So basically, like, we have certain, like, each sport has, like, a certain amount of, like, positions for, like, recruited athletes. So in my year, they had, like, 6 to 7 spots for, like, female track and field athletes or cross-country athletes, which means that when we, like, go on our official visits to these schools, like, the coach will be like, okay, like, I'm going to give you a spot. So if you apply, like, I'm backing your application, which basically means that you're guaranteed to get in, which is, like, a good thing and a bad thing. This is kind of something that, like, came up really recently with, like, the recruited athlete, like, controversy and, like, the news with, you know, like, Olivia Jade and, like, these celebrity children's, like, paying millions of dollars to, like, get into specific schools. Yale was one of them.
Jesus.
But yeah, so that's, like, recruited athletes is, like, kind of, like, a bit of a loophole.
Right.
But
so
you
were in that, you know, you were doing that before it was cool, before it was mainstream.
Yeah, well, I also did not have to pay $1.2 million to get into
That was my thing with Yale. Like, I was being recruited by them, and then the coach was like, yeah, I'm not going to back your application.
Really?
Yeah.
Why would they not do that?
'Cause I had a really, really bad senior class. I had food poisoning at state. Like, I had a really bad season.
I got you. So even if you have not the best, like, academics, you can still go there for running then?
I think you need the academics, obviously.
Yeah.
You need the academics.
It's a lot, more leeway.
Okay.
Yeah, it's just, like, it's quote-unquote, like, easier to get in as an athlete. But you still had to be, like, super well-rounded and, like, like, have, like, the grades and, like, the test scores to get in. But it's not necessarily as, like, you don't have to score a perfect score in the ACT to get in. You know?
I see. Interesting. So... Okay, so back to the competition. Were there kids like trying to burn your homework, trying to, like, throw water on your papers? Like, what was kind of the sentiment among the class?
So what I was saying about my brother Harvard is I think that, like, the competitiveness at, like, a school like Harvard and Princeton, from what I've heard, is much higher than at Yale. Like, and that was kind of my experience too. Like, I never experienced, I mean, obviously, like, you're in a very, like
high level,
like, it's going to be a lot of pressure, but most of that pressure was, like, from an internal, like, sort of, like,
okay.
Yeah, because all the people at Yale are, like, really high achievers to begin with, like, and you kind of have to start that at, like, an early age if you have the grades in high school to, like, go there.
Right.
So I think most of it was kind of, like, an internal pressure, and that could be, like, really debilitating for people.
Did people, like, drop off? Like, you could see people, like, falling apart?
I mean, I never really had, like, any, like, close friends that happened to. Like, certainly we all went through kind of, like,
a tough time.
Tough times. Like, my sophomore year I mentioned was, like, not great, but that had a lot to do with running as well as, like, academics is kind of, for me, like, all, like, meshed together.
It's a grind. Oh, my God.
Yeah.
Do you think, like, the internalizing is because, like, they went from being, like, that big fish in a small pond, and now it's, like, all the big fish are together, so you're not even that big anymore?
Yeah. Exactly.
Interesting.
Exactly. And it kind of, it gets to people, like, I think, I mean, you're graded on a curve. So, like, I think my perspective of, like, in some classes, my perspective of, like, myself was, like, very different from, like, what I feel like who I actually am while I was at Yale. Because in high school, you know, like, I was one of the top of my class, and then I go to Yale, and I'm like, holy crap, like, these kids went to, like, private schools, like, they had, like, tutors, and, like, they're so smart, and I'm just like, I don't think I'm as smart as them.
Right.
And, yeah,
But you think about, I feel like every kid, in order to get to be that successful at academics, you have to have some sort of internal dialogue, always like, I need to be better, I need to push myself. Because I have a friend who, I hope I'm not wrong, I think she was valedictorian in my class, and everyone's like, you're so smart, like, you're good, but she's so self-critical. Yeah. And I feel like, so when you're saying, like, everyone's a big fish, everyone is also, like, an internal, like, has a running dialogue, like, you need to be better, you need to push yourself. But that's good that it's kind of all, like you said, like, it's all, like, yourself, kind of, it's a competition with yourself rather than with others. I
mean, it's all a matter of perspective, too. Like, that's, I guess, kind of where I was going with that. Like, I may not have been, like, at the top of my class at Yale, but, like, compared to, like, you know, the rest of the colleges, like,
okay, yeah, you'd be valedictorian or something like that,
yeah, like, you know, like, that's really not a good, like, perspective to have. Right. And I think so when I came here for grad school, I actually found that it was a lot less pressure and a lot easier, and I, like, kind of regained my confidence, and, like, so I think that was, like, really cool for me to see and, like, actually experience, like, okay, like, I can, you know, kind of, like, give myself more credit than I have been.
Right.
What did you think about getting B's?
At Yale?
Yeah.
Yeah, I definitely got some B's.
I mean, like...
Were those, like, your first B's ever?
I got a B in, like, AP Calculus in high school, and I, like, cried so hard.
Wow.
Yeah.
Like, that's another thing. Like, you're going from, like, A's all the time, and then, like... Like, I got my... I guess if you count middle school, it's not, but I got my first C in college.
Really?
Yeah, and I was like...
I think I did, too.
I was like... I mean, I'm like, okay, whatever. Like...
Yeah. I'm like, I don't care.
I knew mine was a lack of effort on my part. I got my first C- freshman year.
Congrats, bro.
Yeah.
But I feel like that's when the C- is
Shout out Chem 1.
Because, like, freshman year, you're just like, I don't know what I'm doing.
Dude,
like,
I got an A- on the final in that class.
Hey, good work,
I
boy.
got a C- in the class.
How is that possible?
That's how bad I was doing.
Crazy.
I hated that class. I hate chem.
Yeah.
Fuck chemistry.
So does anyone cheat at Yale?
Did you ever cheat?
I never cheated. No, I never cheated.
Do kids really try to like finesse?
It's like the movies.
I think like the closest I ever came to cheating was like, and I did this in grad school too. I'm totally like exposing myself here, but like for a paper, for example, yeah.
Just kidding.
For a paper, for example, like I have it finished by the deadline, but I don't have the works cited done, so I'll like send in the email, and then like 30 minutes later be like, oops, sorry, like I attached the wrong file, like here it is.
That's nothing.
I submitted. I forgot to attach my bibliography to an essay I wrote this semester, and I was tweaking. It was my final essay for a class. It was like the Communist Manifesto one. I got like 0 on that part, so I got like a 94.
That's
overall.
like actual.
Oh, okay.
That's technically plagiarism, though.
Yeah. I haven't even emailed them about it. I was just like, fuck, I'll take I'm gonna get an A-, regardless. I'll take the 0.
Right.
Like,
definitely, bro. Well, yeah, that's really interesting, Delaney. So what was your brother's experience with like the competition? So what were some examples that he had?
So he's gonna be a senior, and I don't know, like, I can't like speak to anything like specific that he's experienced, and also like I feel like competition in the classroom is like very different for me as like an English major and like very much part of like the liberal arts like education. He's computer science.
True. Oh, that's a good point.
So like,
oh my
God. I like mentioned that like classes were graded on a curve, but that's like really specific to like an econ class or like a computer science class.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, English classes are not graded on a curve unless you count like the fact that an English professor is probably not going to give anything lower than a B- to a student on a paper.
Is he
that's nice.
At Yale?
Yeah, I mean, I never received anything lower than that.
Really?
Yeah.
So it's not really like tooth and nail.
So
like
an English major at Yale is just like easy.
That's definitely not true. I don't want
let's
that
not
to, like,
downplay this shit, bro.
I would actually argue that it was one of the harder majors. Like, most of the majors at Yale there was a requirement of like 10 or 12 credits, so like 12 classes, and at Yale each class equals like 1 credit. And most majors like history or like poli-sci or something was going to be a total of like 12 classes within that major, and Yale was or English was 14. So we had 2 additional.
Did you have lib eds to do there?
What's that?
Did you have to do like math,
language requirement? And...
Yeah, we had like language requirement.
What language you do?
I did German and then I did Italian.
She read the German in our basement to me.
Really? What does it say? That sounds really sus when you say that, by the way.
Oh.
There's just German writing on our basement?
On the wall, yeah.
What does it say?
Like,
I'm not a Nazi. Something like that.
Oh, that's good.
I do not.
The word Nazi was in it.
Yeah,
Jesus.
but you don't have to translate Nazi.
Oh.
That's true.
Yeah.
It's the same.
I know. That's why I know it was in it.
Yeah, I forgot German. I took it for 2 years here, or 2 semesters. Pretty much forgot everything so far, so.
That was me in Italian. I can't speak any Italian at all, and I took it for a full year.
I know the word fork.
What is it?
Forghetto, right?
Ooh.
Yeah.
I literally don't know.
Because saucy,
the part of Somalia my family's from is colonized by Italy, so there's like an integration.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah.
Wild. So do you know about language and stuff? Just English?
Mostly just English. I can confidently say that I am a quote-unquote master of English. But
Truly, you truly are.
Yeah, like actually.
Oh, congratulations, by the way. Shout out to Delaney.
Oh, yeah, thank
Yeah,
you.
that's
another round of applause.
Wow.
Such a rousing round.
Did you get your thing yet?
Yeah, I got it at home. My dad sent me a picture. I finally got my diploma in the mail. So.
Am I supposed to change my Twitter name now?
Yeah. Hansa promised that once I got my diploma, he would change it to what? Delaney's...
Delaney FitzPatrick fan club.
Give him a follow, bro.
You gotta keep your word on that. I've been looking forward to it.
Capital F and capital P.
Yes.
Gotcha.
For all you fans.
So obviously, you have seen the value of education, and you would agree that college is a necessary thing for people. Is that or
I
what are your
definitely
thoughts?
would not say that. No.
You would not say that. Okay.
No, I don't think that college is necessary for everyone. I think that like people can definitely like make do or not even make do, like have like great lives and like lead successful lives without a college education. Like, I think it's all really dependent on, like, the person and, like, what they're aiming to achieve and, like, what would fulfill them. That's kind of determinant of, like, if college is the right road.
Interesting. I feel like a lot of people, especially someone who's in it for so long, like you were in it for, 6 years then?
Yeah.
And you might do your PhD, by the way.
How many more would that be?
6 more years.
6 more years.
I'm halfway there.
Years, bro. Imagine being a senior in high school and being halfway done with school, Hamza.
Wait, so...
Fuck that.
So...
Just kidding. That's awesome, Delaney, though.
I mean, I don't know if that's
the PhD program is 6 years long itself?
Yes.
And you can't... There are no, like, accolades along the way?
I mean, technically, I could have, like, gone straight into my PhD and, like, got my master's along the way, but I was...
Would that have been...
So that would have still been 6 years total.
Dang.
But I would have
kind
of, like,
included
skipped
this
the
year?
2 years. Yeah.
Oh, Oh.
It would have included the last 2 years, but
I see.
since I was competing like for my 5th year last year, it didn't make sense to.
Oh,
do
right,
a
you did
PhD.
2 years of grad school.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So, so what I'm saying is, I feel like so you were in it for a minute. You were in that world for a while.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like people, when they're in that world, they say like,
Why
they
not?
see the value of
education.
school, like they think that everyone should have this. So how come, so you don't share that perspective? Have you seen other people like being successful without going to college? How did you come to that perspective?
I mean, I think maybe my perspective has changed. Like,
Did you think that initially, like
Probably-
everyone should go?
probably in high school, I was like kind of looked down upon people who like decided not to do college. But I think like
There's
now that
circumstances.
I've gained like life perspective and like seen people who have like either dropped out or like decided that they didn't want to do college right away, that like
Mhm.
it's worked for them.
Yeah.
Like I don't know, my friend's boyfriend, for example, like he dropped out of college and he's like a salesperson, and I don't necessarily think that working sales is like a type of job that you need like a college like degree in. And I
No.
think like and you can just kind of have like a natural charisma, and that's like
Yeah.
not something that can even be learned in the classroom to
True.
begin with.
Very true. Very true.
So
Yeah, there's some innate skills that people have. Like Hamza just looks really good all the time for some reason.
I'm 6 feet tall. No, I agree though. I think like, I don't think you need a college. I think we've talked about. I feel like we've talked like off the air. I've talked about
Yeah,
this before. Like,
right.
I mean, the most successful person I know without one is my mom. Like with all the faults, my mom has like 9 kids. I'm number 7. I'm the 7th like who has gone to college. You know, like
Mhm.
mm-hmm.
Right.
shit. You know, like
Yeah.
I don't know. And I feel like that you have to define like it's based off how you define success.
Right.
You know,
So Delaney, do you want to stay in like academia, or what are your plans now that you're a master?
But I want to hear what Hamza thinks I'm gonna do.
She's gonna go into editing, and then she's gonna climb the ladder. You ever watch The Devil's Wear Prada? You know,
I've
Meryl
heard.
Yeah.
Streep in that.
I just watched that movie like a few weeks ago.
I watched it a week ago, I think, or 2 weeks ago for the first time. She's gonna be like Meryl, get up to that, but not
Yes.
like mean. I don't know if you want to be.
I think maybe mean.
Yeah, and then she's
We'll
gonna,
see.
You're a bastard, bro.
and then she's gonna, but not like Vogue. I feel like more like in a publishing like books, and then she's gonna just go independent, and then boom, and start an enterprise.
Oh well.
I mean,
So there you have it. There's your whole life story. Thanks,
Yeah.
Hamza.
Yeah,
thanks you for that 10 to 15 year plan. It
Yeah,
sounds great.
that's great.
But yeah, I think basically I've always been kind of interested in like publishing and editing. I think like
You're
Hamza's
right, bro.
right about that.
Hey,
I've always been more drawn to
You
kind of
smart.
like
I'm very smart.
like the analytical part of language, which is like
Mm.
I think something that people when they think about like writing and reading like don't think
I
about.
think it's all about creativity.
Exactly.
Oh.
So I'm interested in
Like the
kind of
syntax?
I love looking at grammar. I love grammar. Like I cannot tell you how much
Really?
I love grammar.
Yeah.
That's so wild, bro. That someone likes grammar.
How do you feel about people texting in all lowercase?
Yeah, I know you do that, and I don't like it. But I also appreciate like the aesthetic of like
Mhm.
specific styles and like
I'll be
the
honest.
lack of grammar.
Our description of our podcasts are all lowercase. To keep that aesthetic, though.
No, yeah, I think
But you can appreciate that,
So I
right?
think like there's a difference between like using or like breaking rules for an aesthetic purpose and just not knowing the rules or like ignoring the rules.
Exactly.
So,
What are some rules that you need to follow?
well, I think people really don't understand still like the colon, the semicolon, and
Explain
the
the
M dash.
semicolon.
Please.
Okay.
Please.
Oh
So-
no, and dash more importantly, actually.
M dash is a great like
Yeah,
M dash is my
I know
favorite
what
dash.
it is. I just don't know how to use it.
Wait. Yeah, please explain.
Okay, so there are.
It's two
Well, do you want me to
hyphens, right?
start with like the M?
All of it, just do all of it.
So
Alright.
start it off. We got to do a few examples, I feel like, too.
Okay.
So are there like speech examples of those type of
You
things?
just give
Well-
a
Or is it
say-
easier
you could-
explain
you could
just-
say a sentence.
Let me try to explain it first because I'm bad at coming up with
I
examples.
like your earrings.
Yeah, thank you. I'm wearing spider earrings right now.
I helped pick them out, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Dude, you're freaking great, man. You're setting Delaney up, bro.
Just-
She got her earrings. You set her up
Yeah.
for a 15-year plan.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You're a part of her fan club, bro. That's exactly it.
President.
Yeah, that's all I need.
Follow the Twitter. All right, so let's.
Okay, so yeah, here's a little English lesson here. So
Yes.
basically.
Think we all need one.
Yeah, semicolon is going to be connecting two complete. That's important. Two complete independent clauses.
Right.
So basically, that's like two like complete sentences. They've got the subject, they got the verb, they've got whatever the action is happening. Like.
Yes.
I have a question about that.
Yes.
So it's two independent clauses, which means that they could be independent sentences.
Yes.
Why would you want them conjoined?
Because they're in some way related.
Okay, there we are.
Like, they are in some way related. So, like, technically, if you're using a semicolon, you could easily just, like, you could just as easily use a period. But the semicolon is, like showing that...
You're smart.
Yes.
That's
actually,
basically, like...
If you use it correctly...
You look a lot smarter than...
Way smarter.
period.
They look great.
Fuck
I love
thesaurus, he's
semicolon.
a semicolon.
Like, I feel,
Hell yeah.
like, powerful when I correctly use a semicolon.
Would you rather get your PhD or just use semicolons? What's a better measure of intelligence?
It's close.
It's very close. I don't know. I can't.
I could get a PhD and not know how to use a semicolon.
That's true,
You
bro.
probably could.
That's true.
But I couldn't use a semicolon and not get a PhD.
Yeah. Wait.
But you're also
Wait, I'm
you're also
confused.
not specifying that your PhD would be in English.
I'm just saying.
True.
Because you could definitely get
Great
a PhD
point.
not in English and never
Yeah,
use a semicolon correct.
Spanish or something.
All right. So because I think I used a semicolon in a paper, and I think it was right.
Did you get doc points for it?
No, bro. I think I did it right. So it was like, you were explaining. So you have. So I was doing a list of something, but it was like the list was complete sentences. But they still related to like a certain subject matter at the beginning of the paragraph.
Sometimes you can use like, for example, if you are using, this is really difficult to explain like just using words and
it's
not
very
using,
it's
like,
tough.
actual writing.
Exactly.
But if you're listing something that's like, okay, so let's say Clark and Hamza invited the presidents to the ball, or invited these presidents to the ball.
We clean.
Okay, you're gonna use a colon for this because it's a list. So then you're gonna
and then I say like this person and this person and this person. Like, oh, you invited these persons to the ball, blank and blank.
But like, okay, let's say
no, because that's not a complete.
Let's say like these
for a colon.
But if this is like a list.
Yeah, using a colon.
Yes.
That's sorry. Keep talking.
This is getting like really confusing. I also don't know.
Oh, fuck.
Okay, so let's say so Clark and Hamza are inviting the presidents and their wives, these presidents and their wives to the ball, colon. So then you're gonna say
it's
like
2 dots, not the organ.
Bro, you make
Wait,
no
what?
sense,
What did
bro. Stop talking. Let the person with the masters in English
That was a
continue.
funny ass joke. Shut up.
I didn't get it, but
okay.
You have a colon.
Oh. Okay.
oh, I'll have to listen to that back. Go ahead.
Okay, so we've left off on the colon in many ways. So then we've got like Ronald and Nancy Reagan, semicolon, because that's technically like
Yes.
a longer list, and then like Barack and Michelle Obama, semicolon.
I see.
And so then like you can list things like that. If it's not necessarily like, if the list doesn't include like single words that you can separate easily by commas, and it involves like a long sentence or something, then you can use a semicolon in place.
So there you go, people, you know.
Yeah, I hope that made sense. It definitely, I feel like, did not make sense.
I get it.
Could I theoretically like have like one sentence about something that's super long just because I'm just like semicolon, because it's all related?
No,
it's a run-on sentence.
But it'd be cool.
that's
Bro,
just a hard no.
that's a hard no, dude.
Man, you know, English knows no bounds.
That's a hard no spelled N-O. Is that right, Delaney?
Capital N-O.
Oh, shit, you're right.
Period.
You're right. Fuck.
N is, or both are capital.
What?
It depends what kind of trying to emphasis you're putting on the word.
Capital
right?
N,
Emphasis, not
capital O,
emphasis.
exclamation point.
Damn.
Alright, explain the next.
Okay.
So
Yes, continue.
you want me to explain the dashes?
N dash, yeah.
I
Spell
think,
it
yeah.
first.
The
Explain
M
that.
dash or the N dash?
Both. Okay, there's two. Okay.
So there are 3 different dashes technically. There's the hyphen, which we all, I feel like, kind of know how to use.
Yeah.
You're connecting like words. Like
it's kind of like a secondary thought.
Like compound adjectives, for example, you're gonna use a hyphen.
Like a conjoined last name.
Yeah, conjoined last names.
Like Fitz-Patrick.
Yeah.
Yes.
So you're gonna use it like that. And N dash is like probably the least common. Like that's, I feel like you guys probably haven't even like heard of these or knew that they existed.
I've heard of it.
So
I'm out of the loop.
So
I Google a lot of random shit though.
So we're moving from like the smallest line to the largest line. So like hyphen's like the really small one. You know what it looks like.
Oh yes.
The N dash is like a little bit longer than that. And you use that to like combine, for example, like the University of Minnesota Twin Cities campus. You're gonna use that to combine like Twin Cities or like use that to combine. Sorry, that was wrong. Use that to combine like the University of Minnesota Twin Cities.
Take your degree back.
Yeah, edit that part out. The University of Minnesota N dash Twin Cities.
Got it.
And then you'd use that for like all of the campuses, like N dash.
I've been using a hyphen when I type it out.
Shit.
So that's what most people use, but if you want to get like really technical, you should be using an N dash there.
Just so it's okay, but just so you know.
I see.
Or if you're using like.
And then next is the M dash, and that's like
the M dash.
A replacement, correct me if I'm wrong, for like parentheses almost, isn't it?
Yeah, it can be. Yeah.
So basically Hamza's a hyphen and I'm an M dash.
Dude, you're like 6'1", be quiet.
All right, so
I can do the N dash.
So basically, that's pretty wild. So we just got a great, you
can fully explain the M dash. That's what I thought it was.
Well, it's like sometimes you can like use.
I'm also 6'6", by the way. So
dude, shut up.
Get your facts straight, bro. Okay. You can't see me on the audio. We're gonna get video soon.
You know what I'd call you, but I'm gonna hold off on it.
Please, bro. This is, save the virgin ears of our listeners. All right, continue.
So an M dash is like you're combining a complete like sentence with like you're kind of like adding on like a thought to that, for example.
Gotcha.
So an M dash can like the way Hamza was kind of describing it, you're like using it in the middle of a sentence probably, which is kind of like an aside, like. It's like a separate thought, like a
meat and the potatoes.
Yeah. Okay, maybe. If that analogy made sense to you, please go forth and like use an M dash like that.
Yeah, I feel like we're just confusing people more by Hamza saying shit.
But or you can use like the M dash like at kind of like to end the sentence, like you like have your complete sentence and then add like the M dash and then like have a kind of like continuation of that thought.
Okay. Damn, I didn't know I was gonna get a freaking English lesson.
I didn't know that either.
That's wild.
You're welcome.
That's cool. So,
sidebar.
Go ahead.
Question for you. So, you have a undergrad and graduate degree in English. Do you ever think about like teaching English, like not like teaching? Oh, I'm a high school. Like teaching English to non-English speakers. Like how, like I've been thinking a lot about that myself. I feel like the way I would go about it would be like letters and then words and then I do syntax after that. What do you think about that approach to like teaching someone English?
I mean, wait, say that again.
I'd like teach them letters and then teach them like simple words and build up like their vocab and then I'd start doing like sentence structure and syntax and all that kind of stuff.
Isn't that how you learned like a foreign language like anyway?
I'm just saying. I mean,
bro, you could just mimic any way to teach a language and just do it for English. I don't. Just kidding. I'm sorry.
No, that's not how I learned language.
But it seems so weird because you know the language.
Like I feel like I'd be teaching like the alphabet. I don't know the Spanish alphabet. I know some Spanish. Like when I learned Spanish in high school, I got decent, and I didn't know the alphabet at all.
Ah, good point. Interesting.
Yeah, I think. Well, I mean, if you think about how you learned like if you think about how you learned like English, like you learned words before you like learned the alphabet in kindergarten or whatever.
No, I just knew.
You just knew words.
I feel like you just like wake
from
up,
jump.
I feel like you just wake up and you're just like, oh shit, all right.
I mean, sort of you do because you're not technically. Well, you don't remember everything. You probably are conscious when you're a kid. But like one day you just wake up and you like know that shit.
I remember the day I started remembering.
Really?
I woke up and I was just like, whoa.
I don't really, bro.
I woke up one day and I knew something was different. I was just like,
What?
That's crazy.
and I was like, I felt sentient.
How old are you?
I was like 5, 4. I was
crazy.
slow, but I was like, I woke up and I was like, what? Like, what's going on? And I was like, what did I do yesterday?
What?
I said nothing.
This
Do you remember
crazy.
when you started? I don't either.
No.
See,
Like,
okay, that's good to hear because I sometimes think that I got like fucked up in football and like can't remember anything, but it seems that other people share.
that is not like Hamza's like experience is not normal.
Okay,
Maybe
good.
we need like a poll for like
Yeah,
the
that'd be
listeners to
interesting.
take.
Do you remember the day you started remembering? I'd love to hear people's takes.
Oh, by the way, this is the book I was telling you about.
Okay.
You should check it out. The book's called House of Leaves. It's about a guy, my friend Claire showed me this the other day, who's like going like crazy. He gets in a house and the house is like driving
yeah,
crazy.
okay.
And the writing in the book changes. Like as the book, it starts off and it's in that like boop 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 like robotica. What's the type? What's the, you know what I'm talking about? Like
Yes.
it's like written in that and it's super neat and detailed. And then it just switches like fuck, what are they called?
Comic Sans.
That's a font. That's the word. That's a good font. I actually like Comic Sans. It's really dyslexic friendly. But back to like, and then like the font changes, yeah. But then like the pages get really weird, and then it turns into like one word on a page. It's like yeah, like you know that you can tell like how this guy's going.
That's sick.
House of Leaves. It's by Mark Z. Danielewski.
Hell yeah.
Sounds good.
Shout out Mark.
$16.59 on Amazon. Not sponsored. Free 1-day shipping with Prime. Not sponsored.
Dope. Cool, man. So Delaney, thinking about language, thinking about words,
Mm-hmm.
have you read 1984?
Yes, in high school.
Dope book. Raw book.
I don't think I liked it that much, to be honest.
I love this book.
I
didn't read it.
struggled
I
to get
read a
through
little
that
bit of it,
one.
and I was like,
Really?
Yeah.
Why?
I read it after. Oh, you can go first about why.
Well, I mean, I don't think any like book you really read for school is like that exciting. Like
That is true.
you like hate read it, like I do.
Yeah, very good point. I didn't even read it in high school. I just like Spark Notes the quiz.
Similarly for me, I read Night by Lee Wiesel, not sponsored. Really good book.
How could a book sponsor us?
They got publishing things, dude, chill. I really, really liked it, and I was like, you know what, this is a good note to end on. That was winter, my sophomore year of high school in Miss Rory Buckle's class. I haven't read a book since for school.
Oh
I still
my
read.
God.
Hell yeah. Boy. But I read this book for fun, so it's actually good.
And you have
And I actually recorded a podcast on 1984.
it's gonna be a spin-off of ours.
I'll probably do a little side project thing. The problem is it takes so long to make because you have to read an entire book. so maybe if people are interested, maybe they could show some love if they want to hear about that. But that'd be cool. But yeah, so do you think that language like shapes the way we think and then the way we act, or do you think it's kind of a different kind of timeline between those two? Do you see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Because like in this book, and this is kind of what I talk about in the podcast that I tried to make, it's like the Sapir-Whorf hypothesis.
That's exactly what I was about to say.
Which you've heard of, right?
No, I haven't.
And I think we talked about this in episode 2, so if you guys want to check it out, you should check it out, but we'll also go over it here.
So the Sapir-Whorf hypothesis is about linguistic relativity, and I pulled up. So basically, it's that the structure of the language determines a native speaker's perception and categorization of event and experiences. Like,
yes.
basically, like, if I live in a society where we don't have the word, like, want, then I don't necessarily have, like, the feel for
You don't have a want. Exactly right. Exactly. I hope so.
And what to do? We got our next guest. His name's Obsa Ali. Reintroduce yourself.
Here.
This is Obsa.
Ali.
Alright, so we talking.
Thank you so much.
Talking about linguistic relativity. Oh, Obsa would be a perfect person to ask about this because he's native, not English.
Yes.
Do you think like a language? So basically, it's that the structure of a language shapes how you think, and that makes you like that kind of makes how you view the world different. Like. Basically, like,
there's
the way I think, because like I grew up on English, would be different from someone who grew up on a different language, because they'd have like the sentence structure is different. You know what I'm saying? Like English is what, subject, context.
the sentence structure
Yeah.
itself. Yeah.
Well, that
it's,
doesn't matter.
subject,
I feel like that
verb.
does matter because in other languages, like I look at like the way this is by this.
True. I guess you would see something like
You
as a
would look at things
thing.
relative to one another in a different way.
I think you look at things as an individual, so you
I
compare everything to each other,
I was
and that's
like-
kind of how we are in the English culture.
I guess I was kind of interpreting this in a different way. Like, I was thinking about, like, something that we talked about in one of my classes this semester was about, like, we were reading, like, 19th century, like, novels, which are, like, really, like...
Haveth becometh.
No.
Nope, that's
Nope.
That's way
No.
too earlier. That's
This
way
is,
earlier.
like, 1800s, like, Charles Dickens and, like, Tolstoy and, like, Jane Austen and stuff, but, like, they're really, like, interested in, like, realism and, like, trying to make, like, the, like, pages or like the like words on the page is like close to like actual like the world itself and like describing the world in as like detailed a way as possible, and I think like the problem there is that like if you say like there's a tree like out the window, everyone would have like based on where you're from and like your background, like you're gonna think of the tree as like a different type of tree.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
No, for sure.
So like that's why they like had to work so hard to make sure that like they're like it was an aspen tree or whatever, and
This is
like
an
it
aspen
had.
because the way it is. You all seen that video? Have you seen the video?
Yeah,
Okay.
maybe that's why I pulled out aspen.
Interesting.
But yeah, that's the nature video, right? Hamza?
Yeah, like wow, look at this.
Oh,
It's an
yeah.
aspen. You can tell this is an aspen because of the way it is.
But basically, like in these novels, they would like their goal would be to like describe this particular aspen tree in like as detailed a way as possible. It'd be like it had branches coming out at like the top from
Yeah.
At a
like 20
8
feet up, like whatever,
angle.
like so it's kind of trying to like circumvent the fact that like everyone has a different idea of a tree to begin with and kind of like building this like new picture.
That's a really interesting. I mean, you think about it because like when I read those books or when I like attempt to read those books, you're just like, this is just words. But I feel like your perspective is so unique because you have such a deep knowledge of like how writing is, the history of like when we started writing and all that. That's gotta be pretty interesting. Like I feel like going deep on something, it can be like anything can be interesting the longer time you spend on it, you know?
I mean, I hope so.
I hope
I've spent
so.
a long
Like
time on this
like
now.
Stockholm
Exactly.
syndrome.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, it probably is, honestly. Like,
In a way.
Like,
Kinda.
I hate this
Little
color
bit.
purple. Oh, no, it's not that bad. That's another thing about that, like, linguistic relativity is that, like, you perceive stuff in different... Because if Japanese, for example, has a ton of different emotion words that we wouldn't necessarily have in English. So people can be like... And, like, maybe we could feel whatever, but we wouldn't be able to, like... We would be confused by ourselves in that. But then, because they have that, knowledge of what it is, they can...
I think the best explanation of this is through 1984.
Okay, back to the book.
So back to the book where basically they create this thing called Doublethink. Essentially what it is they want to control the masses by changing the words that they use. So they eliminate certain words so they can't
double good.
So they can't think in a certain way.
Right?
So exactly, yeah.
I remember that.
So they're gonna. So it's all like very basic. It's all like good or ungood. It's all like double good or like double ungood. This type of stuff. So like by limiting the words they can use, they're limiting their thinking, so they can't realize that they're being limited in the first place. You see what I'm saying?
yeah.
So like that's just an example of linguistic relativity. I think that shit's real. They've like kind of disproved it with certain studies, I believe, certain like psychological studies, but I mean, it makes sense intuitively. You're like, if I don't have a word for time, or if I don't have a word for like a long length of time, I'm not necessarily gonna miss someone after like seeing them for a long time, because I can't even like have a comprehensive thought about it.
Yeah.
I guess you can have like a feeling or like an essence of it, but the only way to get more detailed is by having specific words to actually dive into that specific feeling.
So interestingly enough about like the doublethink thing is that so do y'all know what the MMPI is? So it's a Minnesota multifaceted personality inventory. So that is a personality test created by the University of Minnesota actually, and it's the most extensive and accurate one in the world.
Cool.
And using that and breaking it down shows that the most reliable measure of intelligence, quote unquote, would be vocab.
Oh, really?
That
Yeah.
makes sense.
Ah, stupendous.
Serendipitous.
Well,
That's about right.
That is right.
I mean, that's why, like, I think
So
language...
she's smarter than us already.
well,
Immediately. Well, I mean, that's kind of a
actually,
given.
okay, I'm gonna go with this now, yeah.
Yeah.
So, well, I think, like, that's why language, in my opinion, is, like, very underrated, and I think, like, words are so important, and it's important to choose your words carefully, like, especially in writing, because, like, one of my favorite things to use is, like, the thesaurus. Like, I use the thesaurus, like, all the time.
Huh.
Like, when I'm, like, writing
I do
papers,
too.
it's, like, I don't know where I would be without it, because even though, like, there's, like, a, like, list of, like, 20 synonyms that are technically, like, well, basically the same thing as, like, the word that you're searching for, like, there isn't going to be a specific word that, like, fits your intention better than, like, the others.
Right.
So
Right.
so I think, like, that's a way, A, to, like, expand your vocabulary, and B, to, like, be much more, like, conscious of, like, what you're trying to, like, write, and, like, what purpose or what the meaning is of your words in the first place.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, especially on this podcast, I don't even think about what I'm saying sometimes.
That's fine. Like,
Yeah, we can tell.
Bro, I can tell for you, by the way. So
No, it all makes sense, bro.
Speaking of language, though, like, do you guys ever think about people who speak multiple languages? Like, what
Like-
language do they speak? Like
in their
when
head,
In
bro.
their head,
Yeah, what language do
Me,
you want?
like, when I'm pissed off, I think in my, like, native language. Like, when someone pisses me off, like, I think in my native
Oh.
language, and, like, I just, like, cuss it and say everything in my native language in my head.
And what
Interesting.
what language
Pissed
is that?
off, and that's Oromo.
Huh.
But, like, and sometimes I speak Amharic when, like, I don't know, like, it's just, I speak so many different languages in my head, and sometimes I end up confusing myself.
For
Wow,
all you
That's
fans,
crazy.
Oromo is spoken by the Oromo people, and then Amharic is Ethiopians, right?
Yeah. Ethiopia is a country.
Ethiopia is a
but-
country, Oromo is a region, and
Yeah.
and a ethnic group.
Cool. Wild. So I wonder if, like, that's the part of your brain that, like, is the first to develop or
So,
something, because you hold on
I
to
can
that.
talk about that too.
Yeah.
Shout out
Let's
to
go,
neuroscience.
let's go.
Okay,
the crazy
so
thing is too though, like I used to speak
language-
Swahili like fluently, but now I don't know a lick of Swahili.
language
Huh.
production happens when you're up to like 12, 13. It happens in a different part of your brain. And that's why people who have an accent but move away around when they're in like their mid-teens, they retain it, because after that it's gonna move to a secondary area. So here-ish is where it is at first, and then it goes over here-ish, if that makes sense.
Okay.
yeah,
but
that
explain.
visual
So
is, like, not helpful.
so
Yeah.
so it's like the front. So if I'm facing forward, the front left of my head,
I'm very, very, very like
and then. And the
not-
thing is, they don't know still exactly where it's produced. Is that correct or wrong?
But I'm gonna go ahead and say Hamza's wrong though, because I didn't learn English till I was 12 years old, and I don't think I have a lick of accent.
I mean, yeah, that's why I said
That's true.
13ish too. I said mid-teens, little
Capper.
ugly ass.
True. Got him.
All right, so but yeah,
Rewind it. Rewind it.
run that back, Turbo.
But that's why after that, that's why it's so much easier because it's to learn a language. I mean, one, because your brain's more valuable, and it's a whole another thing about like connections being made. Remember in the
Yeah.
did you see it too?
I also
No,
heard
we
if you
didn't see
speak
that.
like a different language before. I also heard if you like learn a different language, like let's say for me, I learned Oromo and Amharic when I was like, I grew up speaking those languages, and then I went to Kenya. I lived in Kenya for 3 years, and from like 6 to 9 years old, and I spoke like Swahili very fluently. So like when I came to the U.S., my tongue has been so used to
Yeah,
like
that's another
learning
thing,
new
yeah.
language. So like that's why I didn't have any accent, because like it just picked up
Like
very quickly.
That's a
like,
word,
you learn
that's a
the
word.
accent,
Yeah.
too.
Wow.
like there are words like my mom like in English, my mom has trouble like pronouncing because of like tongue placement, because tongue placement is different depending on language. Like
Oh yeah.
for people who are English, it's like back of your top teeth.
Hmm.
And then I don't know where it is for other people, but that's how it is because I know it.
Huh.
But yeah,
Interesting.
I mean, personally, I think that it's kind of ridiculous that, like, in America, like, we don't have children learning, like, a second language right off the bat. Because
Yeah.
in every other country, that every child is, like, learning English. You know,
Right.
like, in, like, Norway. Like, they're learning
Yeah.
English from kindergarten. And, like,
Right.
here...
and like it's a class. It's like a normal class.
Exactly.
It's not like, oh, it's an elective. Like, no, it's integrated in the education.
And I think even if like we had kindergartens, like I think Spanish would probably be like the most applicable for like.
Are you gonna send your kid to like an immersion school? Sorry, I keep cutting you off.
I mean, I don't know. I haven't like thought about that too much, but I just think that would be like a really useful skill to have, like not only in like learning 2 languages, but in like Obsa was saying, in like learning how to learn a different language.
Mm-hmm.
You know.
Yeah, I feel like that's really good for your development, just as a kid. I wish I learned some language.
So going back on that comment about people with more vocab being more intelligent, like I speak like 10 languages, so I'm more smarter than everybody in this room. So I'm just going to close it at that. I'm going to go shower. Sorry to disturb you.
Thanks, bro.
Bye, Obsa.
Bye, Obsa. You're really smart, bro. You look really smart in those shorts. All right. So,
he's wearing booty shorts.
So, yeah. Interesting. That's cool on language. Do you guys have anything more to say?
It's so, like, multi-dimensional, wouldn't you say?
For real. Definitely. Well, yeah, man. Let's get into some fan comments. We have a few. We have a few that came
topics,
in off IG.
Yeah, off Instagram for all you people
for all you
who don't.
plebeians who don't follow. Actually, yeah, never mind. So my friend Brett, he asked a question. He said, "Girls, how do you talk to them?" I don't know.
You just talk to them like, "Oh, hi." You have a mouth, use it. Like, talk.
Yeah.
Well, okay, let's get a woman's perspective.
What about talk about the Target guy?
Yeah, so I was actually gonna bring this up anyway after you mentioned this question. So here's an example of how not to talk to women. Okay.
Oh, Jesus.
So I was in Target like last week, and I like was busy like looking at something, and I like had to move my cart over so that this guy could pass, and I was passing him at the same time, and as I was passing, he like random.
He has a different voice when you talk as him.
He was just like.
Wait, so how about I be you and you be the dude?
Okay. Well, no, that won't work.
Oh shit. Okay, never mind. Damn it.
Use a different voice so we know it's the guy.
Yeah, use a different guy.
Okay.
Voice.
So I was like passing him and like trying to get out of his way. I was like, "Oh, sorry." And then like right as he was like almost completely past me, he was like, "Hey." And I was like,
that wasn't even a different voice.
"Hey."
There you go.
and I was just like, "Oh, hi." And then I was like, "Shit, I know it's coming." Like he's got his eye on me now. So then I was like trying to mind my own business, like looking at yogurt and like.
What kind?
Chobani. It was too expensive. I was like at that point just like trying to avoid eye contact with him, and like I could see him. He was kind of like lingering like at the end of the aisle, so I like pulled my phone out to like make it clear that I was like distracted and like not interested in like engaging in conversation with him.
Maybe he was looking at the Noosa on the end of the aisle.
I don't think so. He was definitely looking at me, and then I like I went to like.
Or the Activia.
So I like went to like leave, and he like comes over and he was like, I'm not gonna use the voice. He was like,
come on now.
Come
no,
on.
I don't. My voice doesn't go.
Go. Hey.
My voice does not go that low.
Damn, your shit's deep, bro.
Yeah, so
I'm grown.
he was just like, hey, like, where are you from? And I was like,
Run it back.
Hey, where you from?
and I was like, I'm just from here. And then he was like, hey, like, do you have a boyfriend?
Mm-hmm. Do you have a boyfriend?
I was like,
Damn, that's deep.
I was like, yes, I do, even though I do not. But it's like stuff like that where it's just like not, like that's just not the time or place
That's
to like
not the place.
hit on a woman. Like,
Okay.
do not bother.
Don't bother someone looking at yogurt.
Yeah.
Okay, but that's okay. But so many things that I run into, or that my friends tell me, is they're like,
Bro, when is the time to?
when is the time to? And also like,
On a dating app.
there's no, it's hard to fucking meet people. You know what I mean?
Yeah, no, it
Like
definitely
it's tough.
Yeah,
You know, it's
well-
tough out here in these streets.
So, I'm like a big fan of How I Met Your Mother, and one of like they
Who's
have
your favorite character?
Marshall. I love him. He's from Minnesota. We should all love him.
Hey.
I'm from Wisconsin.
Me, but I live here now.
Okay.
Okay.
So anyway, so they have like a lot of different like theories about life and just like silly things like that. And one of them is the Doppler-Dahmer effect. And Doppler is like the last name of the like main character in Say Anything, the one who like holds the boombox over his head to like get the girl, whatever.
Yeah.
And that's like a very like sweet and romantic thing to do. And then on the other hand, you have
Jeffrey
like
Dahmer.
Jeffrey Dahmer,
Who eats
serial
people.
killer from Wisconsin.
What part?
Let's go, Milwaukee.
Shout out him, man.
Yeah, shout out to.
Maybe not.
Yeah.
Shout out Jeffrey.
Shout out to
bro.
Wisconsin for having like some of the most notorious.
Remember the
serial
bone breaker kid
killers
from
of all
that
time?
one-
Yeah, Baraboo.
Yeah. I have a friend from there.
That's where like the world's or they have like the circus.
They have
like,
a circus there, yeah.
World Circus Museum something
Oh,
there.
tight.
Is that really that tight?
They
Yeah,
also have like a
trapeze.
That
crane
sounds scary.
thing there.
Creepy.
Yeah, a little
Anyway,
bit.
anyway.
Back to the
So the Doppler-Dahmer effect.
Yep.
So clearly, like you have like two extremes here. Like
Yes.
I think his name is like Andy Doppler, whatever. Like he's like a very like cute, innocent, like him like showing up to this girl's house and like holding his boombox over his head is like a super romantic thing because she's like interested in him and like attracted to him. Whereas
Yeah.
like if someone creepy did that, it would come off as like a Jeffrey Dahmer like stalkerish thing.
Okay.
Doppler.
No. It would be Dobbler.
Because
Okay,
Doppler
sorry.
is like.
Okay. I
Doppler
stand
shake.
corrected. Thank you for
Okay.
fact checking me,
Thanks, Hamza.
Hamza. So it's the Doppler-Dahmer
Yes,
theory.
okay.
So basically,
So
like
it's
what,
the extreme. It's the context.
it's the context, and
Right.
it's like how like you're viewed by the woman. So if like someone cute came up to me in Target, maybe I would have been like, oh,
Hey.
but also like asking like, hey, are you from here? And like, do you have a boyfriend right off the bat is like not really like the move in any context.
So if he was like, "Why are you looking at that Yo play? Like, come get some of this Noosa." That actually would have been
I'd
weird.
be like,
Okay, that got
"Get the
weird.
fuck away from
Yeah,
me."
no, I got you. Okay.
Like, why would you want Noosa when there's Chobani?
They got granola in it, bro. Fucking
Noosa's
stop
good.
hating.
I don't like yogurt like that.
Okay, but anyway, so I think like you just have to be
Gross.
kind of good at like reading the room,
Reading the scene.
reading
Yeah.
the Target
That's
aisle.
so tough. That's so tough.
I don't know,
That's
like
such that
What if-
answer
what if
is
you were,
good,
like-
but it's so
what
Alright.
specific
Abstract.
questions
Let me
though?
give
Like
you-
give me like a.
true. It's a
I
good
need
point.
more like.
I think Hamza can speak to this.
What? What do you mean I can speak to this?
Bro, I don't know how to talk to. Fuck, I'm cuffed,
You think-
bro. You think I haven't had a chance to talk to a girl in 3 years, bro. So I think like I'm not the best fucking conduit for advice here.
Oh, I'm just saying, like, I'm gonna ask. This is another game that we can play. I'm gonna give a situation, and he'd be like, "No," or like, "Okay."
Yeah, this is good.
Alright.
Okay.
Sitting in a coffee shop, alone.
Like doing homework.
Doing homework? No.
Okay.
Just
If
sitting
I'm
there-
reading a book, sure.
And you'd be like, "Oh, what kind of book
Alright.
is that?"
But if-
Like,
Yo, wow, you like books?
I
No,
love
be
books.
like, oh, what are you reading? And if I'm like, oh, I'm reading this, it's like super cool.
And then
like,
if they can
blah,
talk
blah.
about books,
And then if like, oh, it's also good at like if.
to know what you're gonna talk about.
Well, okay, yeah.
What were you gonna say?
Let's
Yeah,
let the
sorry.
woman
I was
answer.
gonna say like I feel like once you make the initial move, it's like kind of clear like whether or not she's willing to engage in conversation.
Yeah,
If
mhm.
she's asking you a question back, that's a good sign.
Right.
That
Okay.
she's interested in like learning about you. But if
Standing-
it's like, oh, I'm reading like this and that's like it, then it's like, okay, you should probably back off.
Gotcha. Okay. So that's
Um,
so good. Scenario 1. Scenario 2. Now.
Working out in a gym.
No, do not approach
I've heard no.
women working out in the gym.
Okay. What
in
about
an
that?
airport?
Yeah, sure. I'd be down for that actually.
Talk in the airport. I feel like that's just like
Someone's like, "Oh, cool backpack," like on the street.
I'd be like on the street.
But like you're like, it's like you're wearing a backpack that has like something on it. Like
I'd be like, see it all.
like I'm wearing a
it
backpack and it
depends on,
says
the problem-
IAAF or like USATF.
Yeah.
And like you're wearing that and they're like, "Oh, dope backpack." Like blah blah blah. blah.
yeah, if you're like, oh, like I run track or something, and like you can try to like initiate conversation like that, and like I don't know,
At the beach.
Great question.
I feel like read the room.
Because what if you're like with your girlfriends and there's like a group of dudes.
Yeah.
And then like one or two of the dudes come up and try to talk to you. What is your thought on that? Like, are you gonna be like, see, this is the problem. I feel like when you're in a group with dudes, all the dudes are like, oh, I'm about to go like, bleh, I'm about to go talk to these girls, and then like no one does it because they're so afraid of like what the girl's gonna say.
Yeah.
Obviously, that's like the reason for not doing anything.
Is
You're afraid of
afraid of-
rejection.
Rejection's scary, man.
So what is actually going through your mind if
Love
someone
guru,
approaches
Delaney
you?
FitzPatrick, what do you say?
I mean,
Mhm.
well, that actually happened to, like, my friend and I while we were, like, down in Texas. We were, like, swimming, and we could just, like, sense that these guys were, like, making, like moving towards us, and we're like, we
Like,
don't want
as a unit?
to. Yeah, there were, like, 2 of them. They came over, and we're like, yeah, we knew this was going to happen. Like, we can tell, like, what's happening.
You
Like,
can
we're
tell.
very perceptive.
Yep.
And so, like they were just kind of like, oh, are you from around here? This is apparently a common question. And,
Yeah, for
like,
real.
Oh, what's your zip code?
yeah, it's like,
It's your social security, girl.
like, we were kind of, like, ignoring, like, we were, like, you know, like, talking with them a little bit. Like, we weren't being, like, rude, but we were also, like, giving them clear signals that, like, we did not want
Yeah,
to, like,
look away a
talk
lot.
with, like, we were not, like, we did not, like, look at them, like, really. We were, like, not engaging in eye contact. We were, like, talking amongst ourselves,
Yep.
like, not asking them questions. Like, it should have been pretty clear for them. Like,
That's a big thing. If they're talking to themselves, like within each
Yeah,
other,
to
like
each
trying
other.
to
If, they're
clearly
if
look
you're
away,
trying to hit on someone and they're talking to themselves, they clearly don't want to talk to you.
that means you should not be talking to them in the first place.
Library.
if it's
Like,
a
if you're just-
silent reading room, no.
Yeah.
What if it's like a note?
Like a group study
Like
area.
a note. Like they pass you a note.
I've
Hey.
had friends that's happened to. I kind of think that's, like, romantic.
A note.
Yeah, we, like
I mean,
you're
it depends
sitting
on the
across.
the what's in the note.
Like, I think it'd be kind of fun if, like,
Fuck that, bro. I feel,
That'd
no,
be so fucking-
you know what's a good idea? I feel like if you went classic, you went old school, you say, do you
Dear-
like me? Yes, no. With the
check
check.
the box.
Dude, that'd be classic,
You should
bro.
do that. Okay, actually, I think, like, if more, like, guys, like,
Or
tried
sappy.
that kind of, like,
Do some
That's not
dumb
sappy.
because
Stupid.
it's a nostalgia factor, and I feel like girls,
feel like it
yeah.
shows that you're
people in
comfortable.
general like that kind of throwback to like what it was like, because then you get all those feelings when you're like in middle school and like a kid, like a person likes you and you're like like the first time.
Yeah, we need
Oh.
more guys, like, slipping girls notes, or vice versa. It doesn't
For
really
real.
matter, but I think, like, that would be, I don't know, I would not mind if, like, I was sitting across from a cute guy in a library and he, like, slipped me his, like, a piece of paper and it was, like, his name and number, you know, like.
Okay, yeah, I gotcha.
Leaving their phone number on a receipt. Let's say like you.
That's happened to me before.
Great question.
Okay,
So this is applicable.
I have a side thing about that. So whenever I travel, without fail, no matter who served me in whatever restaurant, I'd write my number
Really?
on the receipt. Yeah, guy, girl, doesn't matter. I just leave it.
How many people, like, hit you up?
Like 2.
Hey.
What are you talking about?
I don't reply.
Oh my god, bro.
Come on.
Yeah.
You
That's
should have
weird.
replied.
Oh, I'm trying to think of a.
Yeah, like okay,
scenario,
I'm in
man.
Indiana at some restaurant, and then I go back to Minnesota. Like, I'm gonna.
So, you never know. You can make a friend.
What about on an airplane? You sit down. There's like a cute girl to your right. Can you talk? Like, what is the deal?
I think
like,
that would be fine. Like,
Be good at conversation. I
you
feel like.
have to be. You can't like start it off and then like taper off. You can't.
yeah.
You can't fizzle out.
It's either gonna be like you guys are talking like the whole flight and it's
Yep,
great, or
yep.
it's just gonna be like, hey, so you're going
Yeah,
here,
yeah.
like what's it for?
Oh, I
Yeah.
see you're on this airplane. Haha, me too.
Yeah, it could get weird
Oh,
quick.
so you're going to like San Diego?
Oh, so
Me
you,
too.
do you like the middle seat?
I hate, bro. I'm always on the. I really try to be on the aisle
Dude,
at all
same.
times.
You know, the very last row has room though. I always feel weird about being in the very back, but like.
But it's kinda
Are you
nice,
like
bro.
flying Southwest or like?
Spirit.
Because usually
No, I was flying Alaska, and that happened.
Hmm.
in the last
They put me in the
row.
very last row. And I was like, shit, I feel weird.
But it's by the bathrooms. That's why I wouldn't like
I've
it.
gone to the bathroom on an airplane once, and I was coming back from Seattle when I went a month ago. I
Wow.
felt weird.
Was that like what was that experience like for you? That was like
In
your
the air.
first time.
I was like, it took me like a hot minute to figure out like how to flush.
Oh my god. bro.
Yeah.
You're fucking
Yeah.
so incompetent.
Dude,
No, I like
Sorry.
actively like avoid going to the bathroom on
I'll
the plane.
hold
like,
it. I just couldn't.
I
hate it.
love going on the
I
plane.
haven't done it in like years.
Do you know what sucks on a coach bus? when you travel and someone
Yeah.
just like uses it. Oh, man.
Bro, it's dope because
You just stink up the whole like.
bro, on a plane or on a bus, it's like a little game you're playing.
Like-
That shit's so fun, dude. And then dude, how do you fucking not like that?
I
You guys-
hate it. I
You like
hate it.
using communal toilets on vehicles.
Yeah, bro, I'm confident. I'll sit ass
you
to
like-
ass with someone.
Do you look forward to that? Like, you're like, oh, I'm gonna wait to go to the bathroom until I'm like mid.
I'm like at the airport, like holding it.
Yeah.
Almost there.
You're like, I want to go before the flight, but I'm gonna wait.
No, I'll go before the flight. It's not that serious, but
All right.
it is still very fun.
Waiting in line for ice cream, and you're like just getting ice cream by yourself.
And but you think there's gonna be a girl who's going to ice cream by herself?
I mean, I'm just saying
True.
you are.
True.
Wait, so I'm by myself.
Get
All right,
ice-
you and a friend, and then it's a guy and a friend of his.
Yeah, that's fine. Sure.
Cool. What do you think the best way to talk to a girl in class is? I feel like that's where people need.
How do you like
advice.
make friends in class? Like, do you?
How do you make friends in
Dude,
class? Bro?
I don't
made
know.
a total.
I
Yes.
literally don't know.
It's tough.
3 years of college, I have made 3 friends, and that's because I was in a lab group with them,
Yeah.
not because like I was like in an actual class. I
The
got hit on
lecture-
in my freshman writing class freshman year, and I said,
Hey.
Wait, let's hear.
That's
I was
that's
sitting
tough.
there,
That's tough.
and then she was talking to me, and she was like, "Oh, do you want to go get food with me?" I was like,
See, so this is
I said,
like,
"Okay." I was like, "Shit, is she gonna buy?" She did. We were
Hey,
eating.
There you
And
go.
I'm just sitting there talking to her. She's like, "Yeah, I'm vegan. I work like 6 jobs and boo 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 boo." And I'm not saying I like you. I just
Oh
feel
my
like vegans are
God,
gonna
bro.
judge me.
Mm.
I think we talked about this.
Yeah,
we
because you
talked
eat like
about what episode?
6 ice cream sandwiches a night. We talked about this in fucking episode 4
Episode 4.
with
yeah,
Obsa.
with Obsa. Like, and I was like, okay, and then we like, and it was like wasn't like a good conversation when we ate. It was a free meal,
There you go.
really.
So you hit
And-
her up. You got her number. What was the
Yeah,
deal?
she added me on Snapchat.
The move, bro.
And
Hey, you're something.
I have a question when I'm done with this. And then in class and like would sit next to me, and like when I'm in class, I don't want to talk. If that makes sense.
No, bro. Yes, of course.
Like I don't like either I'm gonna be paying attention or I'm on my fucking phone. Like it's a switch.
Yeah.
Like it's what I could be sitting I do this in the very front center. I'm on my phone. Like
oh,
Yeah, bro.
that professor wrote me
but
a rec
in
letter.
lecture,
Fun fact. In a
right?
lecture. Yep.
Not in like a seminar.
Yeah,
Is
yeah,
that,
yeah.
like, bad?
In-
Lecture. Professor wrote me a rec letter.
Good shit.
Yeah, but brings me to my question. What did I just say?
Snapchat.
What did I just say?
Involving Snapchat.
When someone like is like asking for something of yours, would you rather have them ask for like, "Oh, what's your Snapchat?" or something, or be like, "Oh, what's your number?"
I would rather have them ask for my number. I think like it's like
Or,
weird
like,
to me. Like Snapchat has become like
I'm
a
just like
really.
you asking for like a social
popular-
media, not rather than like your number.
I would. I guess like I don't know, like Instagram maybe.
Yeah,
But I
yeah.
feel
I'm
like-
saying, like, would you prefer them to
But it-
ask like?
I don't like.
if
when-
you get, but if you go like, hey, what's your blah blah blah, and someone goes, oh, just follow me on Instagram.
Yeah, I don't
There's
like
no
that.
chance. I feel like
Yeah.
there's no chance with that person. Because if you're sliding them to Instagram, I mean, quite a few people that follow you, you don't care about.
Hey,
You know what
You
I
know,
mean? You can still,
I'm thinking
still
about
shoot
that. Like,
shot, I guess.
I have over 1,000 followers, and I'm looking at them, and it's all someone that like I know well enough to be like, yeah, I'd follow them.
Oh, that's good. That's awesome, bro.
Yeah,
Big ups.
I don't want that many. I'm following. That's my following.
Yeah.
I don't want that many.
You're an
following.
influencer, bro. Just about.
I have 1,400 followers. Fuck your boy.
That's
Yeah.
actually that's cool.
But-
I do have to say though that like I've noticed that Snapchat has become like a really popular way to like people ask for Snapchat instead of like your number these days, and I don't
Yes.
like that
Yes.
Oh, I always
because
feel
that
like,
makes it.
Well, you like words. You like to see the words. I
Yeah.
feel like.
I mean, shit.
So that could be you specifically, but I do know what you mean.
We need another poll
If
here.
it's just-
We do.
Would
Yeah,
you
like-
rather have a
Someone-
well,
Also,
Someone
if it's all pictures, it's so intimate right away. If it's a picture
Oh,
of you.
I
you know?
chat. I don't like. I accept.
Oh, you do
maybe
the
a couple, but then
Snapchat.
I, like,
Yeah, I
actually,
would say
like,
that
message.
Snapchat, like they offer Snapchat because they think it's like less intimate. Because I feel
That's
like
That's like I feel like it'd be like less personal. Like
yeah,
But in a way, it's more so.
like
if
I
you
have
do
your
pictures
number.
right away.
Shit, like I have your number.
Right.
Because if you have your
right.
number,
I
you
can-
can just like add them on Snapchat later. Like I don't.
But I feel like a number is a very like my phone number, like my phone. That's very like my phone number is very personal.
Right.
Like, I feel like that's a lot more personal information than it is because you can add someone on Snapchat from fucking Discover. You can't.
Yeah.
Oh, add this number.
Right.
You know, like so. I feel like I'm more okay with having someone I'm not interested in having my Snapchat than my number. And like I mean, Clark's cuffed, so he can't talk. But I've been in situations like that,
Right.
like where I'm like this person. So a girl's like trying to get like. I got Jedi mind tricked one time actually.
Let's
Oh,
hear it.
really?
It was this girl. I was like, talking about this yesterday too. So saw me on Instagram and then got my Snapchat off a friend of mine.
Okay. That's interesting.
And then
So
added me on
they didn't even
Facebook.
know you?
No, I just thought I was cute.
How is this a Jedi mind trick?
Wait,
Okay.
snapping me. I'm not interested. I don't know how I got finessed into it, but they got my number off me.
Oh my
That's
God.
how I got Jedi mind tricked. That's
You don't know how?
That's not. Did
dude,
you like
like,
black out and you're like?
No, this was like I was at Iowa State my sophomore year for like the Iowa State Classic,
Uh-huh.
and I was just like, and they're just like messaging me, and they're like, yeah, blah, blah, blah. They were good at talking. They're
You
really
have to be a good talker,
Hey,
bro.
Yeah.
You gotta ask that. Like, get that girl on here and ask her for some
Right.
advice.
I am
Right.
good. And then but then like fast forward, like she's within a half hour. She's like, want to FaceTime? And I was just bored. I was like, okay.
It's quick.
Yeah.
That
That's
is-
quick.
Within 5 minutes
That
of
is
FaceTime,
bold.
calls
That's bold.
calls me, says the word, like calls me her man. And then what I did, because I'm a wimp, I had the same friend who she got the Snapchat from send a text on my phone and be like, just so you know, I want to be friends.
Oh my God.
Because I couldn't do it myself.
Oh my god.
You gotta get in there, bro.
Hey, I'm better now, I guess.
How do you? I'm actually. How do you guys feel about ghosting? You think it's okay?
Man.
Like,
No, I don't. I've ghosted people and it didn't, and I was like, I regretted it a lot, and I'm like,
I have only one that I regret.
and it was too late because it was at that point it was too late to like go back and be like, oh sorry, like what are you supposed to say, sorry?
Oh, sorry,
Yeah.
I forgot about you.
Right. So like,
Sorry,
I'm
interested now.
it's not good.
Yeah.
It literally left me feeling so bad like when I did that.
You know, I think like when you can tell, I feel like there are two halves to ghosting. Like I'm not interested in you, so I'm just gonna cut it off, or like, oh, they're not interested in me, I'm gonna cut it off. In the latter, good. In the former,
Right.
I feel like, what do you want? No, I'm asking you though. In the former, like I'm not interested in them. What do I want? Do I want to
Right.
talk to this person?
Yeah,
No.
yeah.
Why wouldn't I end this?
True.
I can be like, yeah, I'm not really feeling you. I'm just gonna blah blah blah. Like you can do that, or you can just like give them a very clear message. Because if you're like, yeah, you know what, you're cool. I don't want to blah blah like that. That gives them the idea that I mean, and this is like how I'm like looking at it. Like I feel like that gives the idea like, okay, they're not interested in me, but they still want to like, you know, if they're willing to tell me that means they still want to like, you know, talk to me.
Okay. Right.
And
I guess someone could look at it like that.
Yeah.
It's like there's still a chance.
I mean,
type shit.
I guess, but I mean that yes, that's true. But I was
Right.
thinking like, oh yeah, we can still blah, blah, blah. So
Right.
like if I'm not interested in this person, and I don't want to talk to them.
Yeah.
So you're in favor of ghosting,
I'm just saying, I'm not saying it's bad.
You see the
Like I understand why
But-
people, yeah.
but
Yeah.
don't you think that like the better option would to be upfront and be like,
Yeah.
hey, like I don't feel like we should talk anymore or whatever.
Yeah.
Like say it better than that.
I think to be honest with me, it's like what I was thinking is like, oh, everyone just like ghosts girls and shit, like, because I didn't know what I was doing. I don't know. I
What
just
were you 15?
no, bro. This was like last year, and like basically, it was just so stupid. I don't even know. But to agree with you, Delaney, it's like I think my personal moral value is like to just be honest and tell someone like I'm not really fucking with it. Like So basically, when I was like that and I didn't do that, then I just felt like shitty. So
Yeah.
be honest about it, bro. Just fucking be honest. I've gotten way better, like just being honest in every aspect now. So I'm better, and I'm sorry to those people if they're listening. But
I mean,
I don't think it was that. It wasn't like a horrible train wreck, but
yeah.
They just called you at 2 a.m. Just, oh my gosh,
No,
I can't
no,
believe
no.
You know how much time I invested? Fuck you.
and it was literally it was not that much time.
Yeah, I feel like I've never, like, had the opportunity to, like, hardcore, like, ghost anyone. Because whatever happens to me is, like, maybe I'm just, like, good at sending signals. Or, like, maybe the guys that I've, like, been, like, hanging out with or something, like, pick up on, like, cues really quickly. Because I've never, like, just, like, ignored, like, messages. Like, we just ghost each other, like, simultaneously. And this has happened, like, many times.
That's my one time where I'm just like, whatever. But yeah.
Yeah. So, like, I don't know if that counts as ghosting.
Like when you hang out with someone and then you both are like, I don't want to hang out with this person
Or, like,
again.
no,
And
this is what always happens to me. Like, at the end of, like, a date or something, I'll be like, so, yeah, anytime you want to do this, like, let me know. And then, like, they're like, oh, yeah, totally, like, blah, blah, blah. And then we just, like, never, like, text each other ever again.
So do you want that or?
I don't know.
Well, because if you said anytime you want to.
Well, I think, like, in
And then
that...
they hit you up half a year later. You said anytime.
What if they hit you up in like 25 years?
Just like,
I
hey,
think-
You
remember
said
me?
anytime.
Well, in those, like, particular cases, I feel obligated or, like, I'm just, like, trying to, like, fill, like, the silence with
silence.
something. Like, what else did you say, like, at the end of a date? Like, oh, hey, this didn't go very well. Like,
Yeah.
Thanks, I had fun.
cool. Yeah,
Go
like,
for coffee.
Like-
No.
like, I don't know. Like, it's just kind of, like, a weird
We all know what coffee
thing.
means. Why would you drink coffee at 11 p.m.?
Exactly, bro. That's a great question, man.
All right. What if it's like a reply to like a story of yours?
I mean,
That's how we became
Whatever.
friends.
yeah, Hamza slid into my DMs.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, he
That's how we
did.
became friends.
Oh, nice. That's awesome.
So, yeah, I guess moral of the story is slide into people's DMs. You never know who you could become
Might
friends
have
with.
him on the podcast.
Yeah.
Crazy.
That's how me and Clark became friends.
Yeah, bro.
He slid into my DMs. And I was like, I feel sad. He's a loser. I'll hang out with him.
Shut the fuck up, bro. You always have these ridiculous stories that just aren't true, man. Come on.
Yeah, I'm pretty creative, wouldn't you say?
That's true.
But, okay, how about, like, at a bar?
That's like, okay, I feel like then you're like asking for it.
Yeah.
If you're at
Okay,
a bar,
let's
you're
use
chilling.
that word, like those phrases,
No-
like
Mm,
sparingly.
yes. See, I don't think before I
I don't
say
think
something.
women are ever quote unquote asking for whatever it is.
Great
I
point.
don't think
Sorry.
anyone's asking for it unless they're literally asking for it.
Yeah.
Great point.
Unless
Clark doesn't
there
mean
is-
that. He's dumb.
No, what I mean is like,
No, I know
what
you
I mean
didn't
is
mean
you're
that.
there,
Yes, yes,
you're
You're in a
available,
social setting.
you're in a social setting.
Yes.
You are.
So it's more inviting.
It's not a.
It's inviting.
It's
more-
inviting.
There
It's
you are.
inviting.
That's
Yeah.
a good word.
You're not
Hamza.
dumb,
See,
Clark.
words are
Clark's
so
not dumb.
important.
Thanks,
Clark's
Hamza.
not dumb. I'm
Very
just saying.
important.
He's not dumb. He just thinks. He speaks before he thinks at times.
Sometimes, yes.
This
Thank
is
you.
why
We all do
words are
that.
important.
Words,
Mhm.
That's why
Choose
she's
them
an English
carefully.
master.
So
English
yeah,
master.
but this goes back to like what I was saying about like reading the room. Like that's literally like the room that you're in is a bar. There's alcohol. Like it's like Hamza said. I think inviting is like a good.
What about
word
like
to
at a
use.
party?
Yeah.
That's
Yes, bro,
interesting
yeah.
though. I feel like when I go out, I'm out to have fun. I'm not like, oh, come talk to me. Like-
that's true. You're just trying to.
So I mean, y'all
hang
know
out.
me. I'm a really cold person to like strangers. I'm just like, yeah, okay,
Yeah.
I guess. Like
You're
even
also-
like,
you're also cold to your co-host.
shut up. But yeah, so like I feel like end of the day when she say like what the person wants.
Well, that's the problem.
Yeah.
That's the whole crux of the issue is you don't know what they want.
And I mean, I don't know why Clark's, he's cute. I don't know why he's worrying about any of this.
I'm not worried about it. Brett asked.
Yeah.
So I hope Brett.
I hope
freaking-
Brett's cute.
Well, I hope I really Brett, if you're listening, man, I hope you got an insight into that because I think we got somewhere.
We
Okay.
gave you scenarios when not to do anything.
Yeah,
Yes.
I think I will say that confidence is like definitely key lead with confidence.
Yeah, remember the Nixon-Kennedy debate?
Yeah,
I do. I
remember that.
I remember
however
it
many
like
years
it was
ago,
yesterday.
50 years
And
ago.
visual, like watching it, like Kennedy did makeup and stuff, and Nixon didn't. So Nixon was all sweaty and all that stuff. So Kennedy looked more and was looking more confident. So they're like, yeah, Kennedy won.
Yep. Right.
But that
Exactly.
yeah, there's more involved.
I mean, there's more, and then actually on the radio, everyone's like, Nixon won.
Yeah. Right.
Because also, like, that was one of the first televised, like, presidential debates, and Nixon was, like, looking at all the cameras. Well, actually,
I don't know
Nixon,
history.
Nixon was, like, looking at, like, the audience, because that's what you normally do in a debate. But JFK was looking at the TV because he was speaking to, like, the audience at home. That's why there's
Genius.
a distinction between, like,
So be confident.
Yeah.
Look him in the eye.
Look him in
eye
the
contact
eye,
is
bro.
important, okay?
Yeah.
Like not like
can't
not
seem
like
skittish.
not like a bird. You know, I'm like, you know what I'm saying? Just like
Yeah.
like,
So try not to look like how you look normally.
dude, my eyes are wide. Stop.
Just kidding, Hamza.
Yeah.
You're very cute.
Thanks, man.
Well,
Can you do one more question?
yeah, let's do one more question, man. So I know Isabel from the last
Isabel.
from
Izzy, my
episode
cousin.
6. She said, "What are your pet peeves?" Do you guys have any major pet
I
peeves?
bet Delaney has some interesting
I
ones.
definitely have some pet peeves. Number one,
Some grammar ones.
well, yeah,
Typing in
grammar.
lowercase, obviously.
Mhm.
I don't know if that's like a pet peeve though. Like, it's fine. I deal with it.
Right.
But my pet peeve is definitely like slow walkers on the
Oh my
sidewalk.
God, I would
Ooh.
slap you.
Oh man, that gets me mad as well.
It's
And
so.
they're like, what? Move.
It's not. It's
Yes.
it's
two people.
yeah. It's when they're walking slowly, and also if there's like 4 of them and they're taking up like the whole sidewalk.
Oh my god.
Or if they're walking on the wrong side of the sidewalk. I'm like,
Oh my.
I can't handle it.
It's pretty shitty. Because then, like, how do you pass them? You know what I hate is when you're barely walking faster than them, like at your like normal pace.
Yeah.
So you have to like book it to get past them, and then you fucking look stupid. God damn it.
I'm like usually booking it though, because I'm just like late to everything. So
Yeah.
I'm like,
late here.
okay, but then I had to wait for you guys. So technically, I was
I
early.
was taking
Yeah,
a
it's
shower,
true.
so I don't even know when you got here.
Damn.
But yeah, that's a problem for me because I'm just like always late. So I'm always like speed walking everywhere. And if you're taking your like time, like strolling along, I'm
Yes.
like, get the fuck out of my way.
So-
I have places to be.
Do you wish people just moved out the way
Yeah.
Yeah.
I wish I had like a horn or something or like.
just to announce you? Whoa, holy shit, bro.
You give a pet peeve.
Oh man.
Wait, do you have any more that you were
None
willing to share?
None that come to mind.
All right.
That's like my biggest pet peeve. Like I can't.
I'll remember
stand
that. I'll
it.
keep that in mind when I'm walking at my own pace.
As long as it's not a slow pace, we're cool.
Right. I guess mine this is a cliche. Well, I guess kind of my abstract one is when people are like unaware of how they sound. Like listen, like it's like you said, like I don't do sometimes. Think before you speak. And then also like recognize how the words sound exiting your mouth. I don't know, because there's some people just like talk to talk. And like, and the thing like you were saying, like you want to fill the silence, that kind of annoys me a lot, you know?
I wish I didn't. It annoys me too. I
Right.
wish I didn't do that.
Right, because it's like we need like constant stimulation, like sound coming
Yeah.
into our
Yeah.
ears and everything.
Yeah.
Why can't you just like sit and like chill, you know?
But okay, what should I say at the end of a date that?
We'll just say like, oh, it's nice to see you.
Take it easy.
be
Take
like,
it easy.
Thank
That's-
you. Bye.
It doesn't.
That's how showbiz is. See ya.
It doesn't have to be at the end of a date, but like just when someone keeps trying, and when you're like, when it's clear that you just like don't need to keep talking. Like if you're trying to spark up a conversation with someone, and like the conversation just kind of dies naturally as it does, and then they're like, so, and you're like, just stop. We don't
Yeah.
need to continue. And also when you're talking to someone and they go on their phone, that annoys me too.
Yeah.
I do that a lot on this podcast.
You do. That's right, you do.
I still listen.
Yeah, you listen. What's your pet peeve, Hamza?
I told you. So mine's really, really, really specific. So you know there's that handle at the top of the backpack?
Uh-huh.
Oh my, yeah.
If I'm walking and then someone grabs me by it, I actually will punch you in the face. Like that
Whoa.
is
So,
I know
that
what
is actually
that
the
feeling.
quickest way to make me angry.
so
And
like,
I don't get angry.
Bro, so yeah, when someone's trying to like, oh, let me grab something from your bag, and they grab it real quick.
They're just like,
like
Hamza.
I'm like, oh hey, what, like like to get my attention.
Yeah.
Like I will slap the shit out
It's
of you.
never happened to me.
I know exactly what you're talking
and
about. It's not cool.
Really?
Imagine like your minding your, you know what I'm saying?
Oh, that's
like,
horrible,
right?
bro.
That's
like assault.
That's one. That's
what,
one.
like, dogs
No,
feel
I will
in their
assault
harnesses.
you. And then I have more, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah. If you can give me a second, I'll think about it.
Okay. But shit, bro. Yeah. I don't know, man. I agree with that, but that's like literally like your pet peeve is getting like attacked physically. So.
No. Like you can. I also don't like being tapped.
Tapped?
Yeah.
Like you do?
Like that.
To other people?
I don't like being tapped.
You do that to me, bro, when we're on this shit on the podcast.
Yeah. I guess it's like if I'm reading, don't tap me.
Okay.
I guess it's like
I
if
won't
I'm
tap you.
engaged in something. Hey Hamza, that's perfect. Touch like.
You
Or
just
like,
don't like being touched.
or like, you can shake me. Just don't tap me. It's just tapping.
Huh.
I don't know. It's
There's something about it.
It's something about like just like the subtleness of it pisses and like.
Man, there's
I have some weird.
also people talking too quietly. Oh my!
I do that a
This
lot
actually,
too.
there was a girl, like the girl in Pitch Perfect who's like talking like she talks like this and you can't hear.
Yeah.
There was a girl in my class who literally talked like that
Your
every day.
Your master's class.
Yeah, and she was sitting right next to me, and like I could barely hear her.
I do that a lot.
And like I'm
Jesus.
sure that like the people I'm like, and we're in like a seminar. There's like 8 people in the room, and I'm sure, like I'm positive
they're
that like
shy.
the people on the other side of like the table could not hear her.
Maybe you're shy.
I don't even think it was that. I think she just like had a very like quiet voice.
Well, shit.
Oh, man.
I don't know. I do that, but that's because I speak from like here, not from like.
Here?
I speak from like my throat, not really from my diaphragm. I guess at times.
Yeah, I can tell. But also, when you ask a question and you're like not confident in asking a question, you're like, so this might be a stupid question. It's like, just ask the goddamn question. You know, save us some time.
I was paying a lot of attention to when I was in high school. When guys and girls ask questions, girls are typically like, "Oh, I'm sorry," like, "Oh, I'm really sorry," or like, "Oh, I'm sorry," like.
For sure. It's skewed towards women, I feel like.
Yeah.
Definitely. We have to we feel like we need to make excuses for what we're saying or like qualify things constantly.
Right.
Not
Be
great.
confident, bro. Do that shit, bro.
Oh, I also don't like when like people knock on my door.
Oh.
I don't like
You
being
literally-
contacted.
What?
I mean, I know
You don't
I'm
like-
so much better at it now.
You basically just don't like normal methods of like human interaction.
Just don't talk to me.
No,
No, but it's
moral,
like
bro.
it's like once again, it's more of I hate when people like bang on it, but I also hate when it's like this super like, like
So
like
what would you
It has to
prefer?
be a medium.
Just like a strong, like confident knock.
Yeah,
though?
confident.
like a,
Be
just
confident.
like a, just like
Yeah.
a, there's like
So
a.
That's the
theme,
moral of the
it's
So like
story.
I hate like, and I also hate like, I want like
a bang. You just want like a knock.
Yep.
like a knock, like
Yeah.
knock, bro.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know. I just think there are levels. I have levels to my peeves. I guess like
There's levels to this shit, bro.
there's levels to this shit, bro.
I
It's same
thought-
fucking game.
I thought of one more, which is like kind of specific and probably not applicable to my life now that I'm graduated. Again.
With her master's, gonna get her PhD. Freaking smart.
We'll see. This
English God.
Might... Okay. Goddess.
Goddess. I'm sorry.
IQ level, brain, or what is it? Big brain, giga brain, or some shit.
What?
Terra brain, bro.
Terror brain, the meme. So yeah,
Okay,
let's continue,
so-
giga.
Oh,
I-
like the levels of enlightenment meme.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Bro, okay.
Those
are I-
funny as
There's some funny ass ones, bro.
So I like to study in the library, and like I always go to like the silent study room, and like have you went to the one in Walter? That's like
I've never studied in Walter Library.
have you? Park?
Yeah.
Yeah, so like there's that silent study room in Walter, and like all the signs in the room are like, this is a silent study area, like do not talk here. And people still talk to each other when they're like sitting in that library, and I'm like, I went to this room so that it could be quiet, and like
You would have hated studying in Bierman.
that's why I don't study in Bierman.
You
Yeah.
should have, in old Bierman, they were quiet, and then new Bierman, they're just like, it's all these young bloods.
Do they like bump music
Yeah.
from their phones?
I will say I recorded what's the thing, like it's a video like 6 seconds, like introduce yourself.
Fine.
Flipgrid. I did a Flipgrid once and like that. But I was like me and two other people and I asked if it was cool first.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
So like,
It was a cold ass Flipgrid. I'll show it to you.
Yeah,
But-
I hate when people. So basically, I'm saying that I hate when people talk in the library. Like at any point, it's just like really rude, and I think like people are just not aware of that it's like affecting people because maybe if like whispering doesn't bother you, like that doesn't necessarily mean it doesn't bother other people.
Yeah, for sure.
And so I've definitely like scolded a few people here and there. Like
really?
I'm that person. I will like
Damn.
tell
do you,
them
like,
off.
Do you like, hey, can you shut up?
I'm
or
like, hey,
or do you like give looks?
No, well I give looks as a warning. Usually they don't notice them.
You know, I can't see you being like a confrontational person like that.
It's only when I'm like
I
super
can.
stressed out and
I
I
can.
like cannot deal with it and
Yeah.
like I'm like in the zone. I'm like I have nowhere else to go. Like this is
Right.
where I am. I need to like get my shit done.
Exactly.
And so I'll just be like I have physically like gotten out of my chair, walked to like the corner of the table where people are talking, be like, hey, if you guys are gonna keep like this conversation going, can you go somewhere else to do it?
And then it's silent.
And then they're like,
Guaranteed.
And then
no,
everyone's
and then they're like, oh my gosh, I'm
clapping and
so
cheering.
sorry. Like they're always like really apologetic, or they
Right.
give me like a weird look, like they're like, wow, like
Okay,
no one's
this
ever
girl
told us
really-
off before.
Yeah, right.
But usually,
Like,
like,
get
they
it together.
stop, so.
Yeah.
Asshole.
I can give him a look sometimes. Like there was this one random dude in on West Bank, and he was
Fuck that guy.
he was watching a video like in the library, like blasting it, and I just went.
Have you seen
I just
Have you seen the
quickly
videos?
swiveled
Have you seen
around.
the videos on YouTube of people going into like libraries and then like accidentally playing aloud like
Yeah.
porno
Porn
sounds
and all
and
this
stuff,
stuff.
or the sexual like there's gummo like by and there's cummo
Oh my
like
god.
shit like that.
Oh.
Dicko mode.
Yeah, exactly. They play shit like that, and they're like, one of the times they're like, "It's hot though, right?"
Oh my god, bro.
But yeah, I understand. I don't know. I like sounds. I can't study in complete silence.
Well,
That
then
makes
you
sense.
don't go to the
You put on
sound study
headphones,
room.
bro.
I mean,
You
yeah,
know what I mean?
that's true.
Like,
Yeah. So
Yeah.
like, I feel like I would never have unless I don't like the sound of their voice. I guess.
That's a good point.
yeah.
Like I feel like that. That's another thing. If you're gonna hit on someone, like, if your voice doesn't sound good, just-
Okay, but you can't control that shit.
you can be like,
Just like really soft.
you can be like, yeah, like, I don't know. I have a slightly nasally voice, so I can't talk. But yeah, just don't have your voice sound good.
just get a little bass in there.
What do you think
sure-
about when guys smile? Because guys think they shouldn't smile.
I think it's nice when guys smile, I guess. Shows
Sure.
That's like
you're
a thing.
happy.
That's like a thing.
Show them teeth, bro.
Yeah,
Like,
but
like,
okay,
I
I
gotta
will
be
say,
brooding and like.
I will. No, it.
That was a
no,
good
that's
impression.
definitely like a psychological like test that like men find women more attractive when they smile and women find men more attractive when they don't. However, like yeah, and it,
really?
people are also
You're a happy guy, bro.
yeah, but people are also like more attractive when they wear like sunglasses, for example, because that like
'Cause it
Yeah,
hides
Clark
their
would see.
face.
You don't see
it
his
makes
like
your face
cock
more
eye.
symmetrical.
Oh my god.
It makes your face more symmetrical.
Oh really?
Yeah.
Also, I feel like it kind of leaves something up to the imagination.
Yeah.
Oh,
But
maybe
then
they
what if
have-
someone takes off their sunglasses?
But-
Because you've seen someone take their sunglasses off and they've been like, kind of.
So
Ugly.
yeah.
Like
So,
sometimes someone takes their glasses off, not you, like actually not you, but
Thanks,
then their
bro.
eyes get wider.
Oh my
Have
god.
you ever seen that?
No, bro. I thought it magnified, so it got smaller.
No, like they get further
their
apart.
sunglasses.
Oh.
Like you're wearing actual glasses, and like when
Oh.
they get further apart,
Oh no.
like wider, like gap.
Well,
That's
I
unfortunate.
do want to say that, like, if any guys or girls have, like, dating profiles that are listening, like, do not have all of your photos with sunglasses.
Yep.
Like, especially I noticed, I mean, I
Do you want to rate my Tinder?
I don't look at, like, yeah, I'll rate your Tinder. Like, I don't look at, like, girls' profiles, so I don't know if this is a thing, but it's definitely a thing, like, where guys will just, like, have sunglasses on in every picture, and I can guarantee you that if you do that, I will not swipe right, like, under any circumstance, because I
Delaney's
cannot
a swell
trust
person
you.
to be around. You'd want her to swipe right.
Thank you.
Mhm.
That's nice. Okay.
Mhm.
So now I'm looking at Hamza's.
Also, have a picture of you smiling so you can see your teeth.
Well, this is Hamza's first picture is of him grimacing, but you can see his teeth. I don't think that counts.
But what am I holding?
A giant snake.
Yep.
like-
You look fucking horrified in this picture,
Dude, I
bro.
was so scared.
Jesus.
That Hope Day.
I feel bad for you.
Yeah. And then I don't think this is not a good content for a podcast.
Alright.
Yeah, this is
Wait,
tough.
you skipped the. You gotta explain the other photos.
Okay, so then the next one is him What? This is like your, what's the, like, go for sports picture?
Yeah.
Like, it says, when she says, fine, act stupid, and he's making a surprise expression. Once again, not smiling.
I don't know about this.
Yeah, I don't think this is working.
It's not funny.
So what do you rate it?
Wait, come on.
This isn't even, is that you?
That's me. I'm Cole, huh?
What?
Oh,
That's
you look
hard. That's hard.
This doesn't even look like him.
It's like all white fit, white sunglasses,
I
white
mean-
collared shirt
Look at
popped
my
out.
bio.
You got the chest popped out, beautiful chest
my
hair
bio.
showing.
Yeah, his
I got
bio
tested
is
back.
I can't swim. Which honestly, I
It's the
prefer like bios that are kind of like short and to the point. If you have like a paragraph that's like,
Come find me.
What?
like I feel like a lot of guys are like, I'm great with like moms and like your mom will love me. Can't wait to meet her. Like I also love dogs and like going hiking and I can't like I don't know stuff like that. And
Yeah,
it's like
of course they're great with moms.
Mine used to be,
Yeah.
I like reading, I can bake, and I can't swim. But I was like, I just can't swim.
Yeah.
So out of 10, it's a 0?
I'd say like an 8. It's pretty good. You have like pretty good like
It's funny.
yeah, it's funny. You have a lot of pictures. You have a lot of pictures of like just you, which
Mhm.
is like ideal.
I like hard.
Yeah,
it
that's
does not
super
even
sick.
look like you. People are gonna think they got catfish.
What about when people have like pictures of it's all in a group? Every picture is like
Okay.
a group.
What if they say like in the bio like I'm the one on the blank?
I think it's
Oh,
kind of
God.
funny when like they'll like edit in like an arrow or something and it's be like this is me
Okay.
or like I think that's funny, but I don't think I've ever like swiped right to someone who does that is because like
Oh yeah.
usually they're trying really
Because
hard.
you literally went in, you had to edit, you had to go in and put an arrow on that
Yeah.
shit. Right.
Yeah,
I
but
got you.
yeah, I think also like in terms of the group photos, like that's never a good idea because it always happens to me where like especially if you have like someone who is showing up in more than one of your group photos, I'm usually gonna like think that that's the person that I'm like
Better looking
profile.
one.
Yeah, it's usually the better looking.
Right.
Can I rate your Tinder?
Yeah.
Guess that sound.
Bro, yeah, I think at the end we'll play the Guess That Sound one more time as a closeout. So have that queued up and ready to go, will
Alright.
ya?
You know, I already got it ready to go.
Let's see.
Good shit, bro.
You can rate. Well, I haven't like updated my Tinder
That's cool.
in like a long time. Like I could definitely
Like from that one.
I think my bio's funny though.
We won't judge.
First photo is just a close up of her. She's smiling,
Good pick.
making eye contact with you
Eye contact.
in the
Yep.
photo.
Eye contact, smiling.
Okay, yeah. Wearing earrings, not the spiders, but that's okay.
It's
I didn't
okay.
have the
That's
spiders
pre-spiders. Next photo. Loading. Oh, her. Berkey?
yet.
That's a ski race. She's a big
I have-
skier.
I'm wearing
She's
sunglasses, but not on my
Not
eyes,
on.
on my head.
See, there
She's
you
a
go.
very
So you know you're cool because you have sunglasses, but you're still
Delaney's
allowing
very good at
people to
skiing.
see what you look like.
She's a very good skier.
Cross country or alpine.
Cross country.
Dope.
Yeah.
Sick.
All right. Next photo is her making. She's eating some food and she's loving it and she's looking at the camera like I love this shit.
I'm eating a cream
Oh.
puff at the Wisconsin State Fair. Anyone who
Is it
knows,
good?
you know.
Is it like compared to the Minnesota one?
I think the Wisconsin State Fair is pretty good. I've never been to the Minnesota one, so I
I don't like state. I don't like being
It's
around that many people.
fire. I love those Minnesota ones.
All right.
Shout out to State Fair, bro.
Yeah,
All
state
right.
fairs are great.
love
Everyone
that
go
shit.
to yours.
And then
Please, please.
next and last one is her looking really really pleased eating ice cream, but she has a cone and she's using a spoon.
yeah.
And then
Interesting
it looks
choice.
Like, were you like wearing a backpack?
Yeah, I'm
Is-
wearing a backpack. This is after practice.
that's what I was thinking. It's like
Mm.
after some kind of sporting. Right?
Yeah.
Bio is perfect date. Going to a museum of natural history. Oh, we did this. And looking at dead animals.
That's
so I guess
sick.
Hamza and I went on a date.
Yeah, I guess.
Wow.
Yeah, it's okay.
I only have 4 photos. I haven't
4
updated
photos.
in a while. Yeah, my Hinge is like maybe a bit better. But
Yeah. It's all right.
Dope.
it gets the job done.
Yeah.
Get the
And
job done. That's
you
all
know
you
what's
gotta
really
do.
weird is just like when someone like messages you after you're like not like they do a follow up.
After you're not
I kind of like when that
responding.
happens because
Like,
I'm like curious.
Yeah, we have what's his
Very.
Barry.
Very- What? So he didn't. What do you? Wait, I'm confused. So
There's
you
a
didn't.
story behind, but I don't know if you want. You can share if you want. That's not my business.
I don't know. Like, I don't really use my dating apps like seriously most of the time. I just use it to
Just when you're
like
bored, I do. When
yeah,
I'm
I use it
bored.
when I'm bored. Like it's like any other app on my phone.
Mhm.
And so, like, this one guy, like, messaged me, and, like, I don't know, he's just like, hey, Delaney, like, how's it going, blah, blah, blah. And for some reason, like, I think I saw it, like, right before I was going to bed. And so I just, like, messaged back, like, oh, sorry, Barry, like, I can't talk right now, like, good night.
Right.
And then, so every time, like, he messages me, I'm just like, oh my gosh, Barry, I'm so sorry, good night. Like,
It's actually really funny.
like,
That's
this has
fine.
been going on for, like, a long time. So I just recently, like, I forgot to send him, like, a message back. He, like, messaged me around Christmas time. Was like, hey, Delaney, I hope that you have a great Christmas. Like, just hope that I can talk to you one day.
That's fine.
And then I forgot, and then, like a week or so ago, he, like, messaged me and was like, hey, Delaney, like, it was my New Year's resolution to talk to you someday. Like, I hope you're having a good 2019.
Okay, but he's just like, he has a,
like, he knows
he has
now.
an awareness of
Yeah,
it, which
yeah.
is funny.
Yeah, so,
Yeah.
like, now it's kind of just, like, a joke that, like, we're both, like, messing with each
There you
other.
go.
Like,
Nice.
but it's
Are you
fun.
sure it's a joke? On
On his
I
end,
think
Your
based
voice
on the
cracked.
New Year's
cracked
resolution
20 times.
context, it is.
Yeah,
Wait, what?
nothing. My voice cracked. It cracks like 20
about
times
this
an
photo?
episode.
That's a good one, but you have your sunglasses on, so you gotta have.
but I have it with.
You look fresh,
addition,
bro.
I look fresh as fuck. If I had an album, this is the album cover. But
Dude, that's
in addition
clean.
to other photos with my eyes visible.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Cool,
What do you
bro.
think of this bio?
We're
We're
This
waiting.
is a user.
We're
This
waiting.
is a fan submission, by the way.
Oh, really? Bet.
Had dreams. Ellipses. That's 3 dots. But 3 periods in a row, by the way.
Confirmed.
Yeah,
No.
ellipses. Yes.
Gigabrain confirms.
Tara Brain. Come on now, she's better than that.
Sorry.
I don't know.
I'm
That's
so
That's
sorry.
doctorate.
That was
You're
me
right,
when
you're
I
right.
had my bachelor's. I've moved up.
But what's
Right.
after
Okay.
terabyte?
Forgive me, please.
No, you're right. It's good because Tara is when she gets her PhD.
Oh, true.
True.
I had
Gotcha.
dreams. ... 2 of them. Both had my father in them. It's peculiar. I'm older now than he ever was by 20 years. So, in a sense, he's the younger man. Maybe this is like a poem. Anyway, the first one, I don't remember too well, but it was about meeting him in town somewheres, and he gives me some money. I think I lost it. The end.
Wait, is that someone's bio?
That's someone's bio, yeah.
Not
What the
yours.
No.
Fuck.
What the fuck?
Why did you just read that to me?
I was
Isn't that weird? I just saw it. It's
I
weird.
feel like we should cut that out. That was not
You
necessary.
know,
Yeah,
you
that
know,
was
what do you think of
weird.
that bio? I'm asking.
I don't like it.
I
That
don't like it.
weirded
It's
me out.
weird,
That
right?
was
It's so weird.
strange.
Why do you have that? That was that one.
So they had a dream about their father that gave money? Bro, this is weird, bro. I don't know what the fuck is happening.
Yeah.
Yeah, isn't that weird? That's what I'm getting. It's
It's
weird.
Yes, it's
weird.
Like if someone had, what would you do?
If someone
Swipe
had that
left.
swipe
Ah,
left,
shit,
fuck
shit,
off.
I'd swipe up. They're unique.
Super like, boy. All right, man.
All
Well,
right, well.
shit. Moral of the story, bro. Be confident in the things
Mhm.
you do, man. I think that's really just like,
Oh wait.
Or girl, woman.
or man or woman,
Or whatever.
whatever you are, whatever you identify as,
Folks.
folks, anyone.
Folks. Okay, one more scenario before we go. Throwing a pebble at your window with a boombox. Like
Throwing.
Like Dobbler. Dobbler.
Dobbler.
Dobbler. Doing that.
I mean, if you're cute, you can get away with a lot of things.
Dobbler Dahmer,
Which
Dobbler
is a
Dahmer.
terrible thing
You
for
go
me to
on one
say.
date with this person
It's
and then they
true.
do that.
If you were vibing, sure.
Okay.
What the fuck? Okay. All right, guys.
All right, homies.
One more time, we're gonna do that. Guess that sound. Winner gets something when you let us know. First person's
Hey,
gonna get something.
Winner gets a shout out on the podcast.
And a special surprise.
Thank you, Hamza. Let's take it away. All right.
What is that?
is that? Thank you so much, everyone, for listening.
That was like the game show music.
Exactly. Thank you so much for everyone for listening. Really appreciate it. Check us out. SoundCloud, Spotify, Stitcher, everything. Follow our Instagrams.
Spotify.
Hammy.time, Clark.Amin. Check us out.
D.Fitz.Patrick.
That's not right, but I think it's just at Delaney _FitzPatrick.
At
At
Delaney-
Follow me.
Follow her.
All right.
Gigabrain out here.
Gigabrain
Freaking
on the
smarty.
road to
Smart
Terrabrain.
pants.
Gonna run the publishing world in 15 years.
Yeah,
Devil
we'll
wears
see.
Devil wears
All right,
Prada,
so, yep.
bro.
I'm your host. My name's Hamza.
My name's Hamza, and we will see you next week. Bye.
What is the word? Googly goo.
Great googly moogly.